Hello plant lovers, welcome to my channel. It's Matthew in Melbourne, where I try to grow cold, cool, intermediate orchids without much help. And maybe I do need help because this video is about replacing something that I killed. So my ramblings are very amateurish, but if they might help you, then you should certainly subscribe. I post every week on a Friday. Yeah, as we're about to find out today though, not every story is a success story. So I won't reveal all until I've opened the box, and then I can give you the whole background as to the whys and the wherefores of what's going on. But I first just need to show you this box, which is hilarious. What does that say? It says Gay Time, Streets Gay Time. Now, for those of you in Australia, you will all know that Gay Time is a chocolate ice cream. Or an ice cream on a stick. For those of you outside of Australia, you might think, what the hell is in that box? Well, it originally had ice cream, plant lovers, and there we are. Who doesn't love receiving a Gay Time in a box? Now, double entendres aside, let's open this and we can actually begin properly the narrative arc of this story, because I can't really tell you everything until we have had the big reveal of my unboxing. So this arrived for me 2 days ago. I was very happy to find it because it is not something that's easy to find, and I actually think that I got this from the same grower as the original plant that I killed. Let's have a look. Here we are. Oh, looks a beauty. Firstly, look at that. Look at those roots out there. Look at that pot. Let's take off some of this paper and see what we've got. You know what? Maybe I just take the plant out, take off this paper. Oh, goodness me. And more paper. Oh, this is just covering the metal hanger. Right, let's actually look at the plant now. There we are, there we are, there we are. Look at that. Ah, magnificent. So, there is the plant. Already, I'm foreseeing trouble. No, I'm not. I'm not going to say that. Now, what is that? Well, you can probably get a sense of what it is just by looking at it. It's a cross between Holcoglossum kimballianum and Vanda coerulea. There you go. And yes, plant lovers, I did have this plant. And yes, plant lovers, I made a video all full of bravado when it flowered for me. And it is such a beautiful plant. I was so excited. The flower is gorgeous. But what did I do? I killed it. But firstly, let's just talk about what this plant is in terms of those two crosses. And then we'll talk about what I learned by killing it. And then what I need to put into practice to make sure this survives. But firstly, look at that plant. It is more than 3 times the size of the plant I had. This is stunning. Mine was quite small and it flowered, which really surprised me. But this, you can see, has actually got, I think, 3 dead flower spikes. 1, 2, and there's a third one in there. So certainly flowering size, and of course it is. Great aerial roots, really fantastic looking plant. Okay, let's have a little background then about Holcoglossum kimballianum and Vanda coerulea. So Holcoglossum kimballianum, and I'll drop in a picture of mine in bloom because it's a beauty. That is a high altitude cool growing orchid from sort of that central chunk of Southeast Asia and Indochina. So southern China down into Vietnam, Myanmar, Laos, down into Thailand, but high altitude, so that sort of mountain range. So misty, cool mountains, cool, particularly coldish at night in winter, plenty of bright and direct sun and plenty of moisture, and sort of moderate amounts of light. It's an epiphyte, and as you can see from these plants, it's one of those sort of real clingers. So it's going to get sort of the moving shade of trees, but essentially high altitude. So that's the key. So Holcoglossums generally, I mean, there are some that are lower and warmer growers, but generally Holcoglossums do very well in Melbourne because they're high altitude plants and they're sort of across the Himalayas into China and then down the various species. So that's a really good plant for me to grow. And if you can grow Cymbidiums and Coelogenes, you'll be able to grow Holcoglossum. Now the next one is Vanda coerulea. Coerulea is from the Latin, which means sky blue, so that gives you an idea. So yes, this Vanda is the blue one, and it's, well, blue. It's very, very beautiful. And that one just grows slightly to the left, but similar sort of territory in India, Myanmar, and down that way. So sort of more Himalayan, really, but slightly lower altitude. So still cool, but to warm growing. So just a bit warmer, basically, but their environments do overlap. Their geographies overlap, but the altitudes differ. So those two plants were brought together in perfect harmony and they produced this plant, and I will drop in the picture of my flower when mine bloomed, which was just the most delicious surprise when it did. Now, Holcoglossum kimballianum for me lives outside all year. Vanda coerulea, maybe it's a little too cold. So what I decided in my infinite wisdom with this last time was that I would put the plant out in summer so I could hang it up so that it could just get sprayed with water. It will have amazing airborne humidity. It will be warm. It'll be bright. The roots will be moist. It will dry out. It'll get wet, blah, blah, blah. I can kind of replicate its natural environment. Then in winter, I should bring it in. However, what I did do was just obviously get moisture in the juncture of the leaves there, and it rotted. Now, I did that not once, but twice. So the first year I didn't bring it in early enough, got cool, got wet, fungal problems, it got black rot, blah, blah, blah. But it managed to kick back. Then the summer just gone, I put it outside again to have all that wonderful summer vacation, did well. Same thing, I just didn't bring it back in time. And this time though, the cold and the damp and the rot just killed the plant completely. It struggled on, it put out a new root and it tried to push out a new leaf, but it just gave up the ghost. So I thought to myself, you know what, plant lovers, I'm just going to get another one because I love it so much. And this time I am not going to take it out at all. It's going to be an inside cat, not allowed out at all. The problem is though, of course, growing things inside that are sort of like this is just how to manage the aerial roots. So I've got a few things like this. So we'll have to see. What I think I'm going to do is get a largish pierced pot, fill it with very large bark, and sort of tuck these roots in there. So it's fairly free and light and not really packed in. That means I can contain the roots and I'll be able to water it and mist it inside. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But I'm not doing it today, plant lovers, because although it's spring, it is really cold, wet and miserable. And this plant has come from Queensland, where it was very happy. And now it's in brisk and chilly Melbourne, where it might not be quite so happy. So I'm just going to take out this paper and I'm just going to keep it indoors until the temperature warms up. Maybe next weekend, I'll then be able to just pot it. And it's not really potting, it's more like putting in a pierced basket with some large bark. So it's not kind of your regular potting anyway. That's what I'm going to do. But what I will do now is give it a good spray with some water. And with orchids like this, a way to feed them too is with a foliate spray. So with a mister, a little bit of diluted liquid fertilizer in a mister, which you can then apply to the roots and to the leaves. The thing, of course, is to make sure you're doing it on a warmish ambient day when the water doesn't rest in the apex of the leaves and can cause the problems that killed mine before. But I'm super happy with this. Now, I got it from eBay. In Australia, eBay is a great source for orchids. I know in other parts of the world it's not. So yeah, it's a tricky one to find though. And I do think I got mine, previous one, from the same supplier. So, and I've been searching and searching. There was just one. So not an easy orchid to find, but it is so beautiful. The flowers are just so elegant and light. Because I'm going to be quite honest here. I find Vandas often just really big and vulgar. Did I just say that? Yes, I did. Apologies to all you Vanda lovers. There are some that aren't, but you know, there's big fleshy ones that are like saucers. Not my bag. Same with cattleyas or with Cymbidiums, those big sort of blousy, fluffy round flowers. Not my thing at all. I like things a little finer, you know, and more wispy. So I was very happy when my previous one flowered because it was just stunning. Anyway, I do have that Vanda, which I'm growing indoors, and it's doing very well actually. And that doesn't go out in summer either. I was thinking of doing it, but it's just remembering to bring them in time. And Melbourne can be a little unpredictable with its minimums as you head into autumn. So it can just get cold and miserable like that. And if you're not in time, kapow, you've lost things, unfortunately. So there we are, plant lovers. Not really an unboxing. We did unbox one thing from a Gay Time box, which is hilarious. And I look forward to this plant blooming, prospering, and living its best life. So if, when, it does flower, I will certainly come back and show you. And at that point, I can perhaps show you what I did to pot this beautifully. Anyway, thanks for watching, plant lovers. Thank you for indulging me as I have bought another orchid because I killed another one. But we all kill things. That's the nature of growing plants, unfortunately. Some things just turn up their toes for no reason. Everything is right for it, but it just wants to die. Anyway, what can you do? Buy another one. So plant lovers, I hope all's well in your world. Thanks for watching. And if you want to know what I'm doing next week, hit subscribe. I post every Friday. I was going to say every day. Goodness, that would kill me. I've got nothing to say every day, believe me. Once a week's enough, plant lovers. So I will see you next week. Take care wherever you are, and I look forward to seeing you on Friday.